First, David is not alone in his question. Take a look at people searching the phrase fourth stimulus check on Google. The subject has picked up a ton of interest, starting all the way back in March. That's when a group of 21 senators sent the president a letter voicing support for additional direct monthly payments, PAC payments. And we reached out to the office of Senator Ron Wyden. He's chairman of the Senate Finance Committee and one of the senators who signed the letter urging President Biden to consider another stimulus.
The Fed has just released some big news. The economists and lawmakers, everybody, are saying that we are now entering a recession in the United States. What this means is that there is a push for new stimulus checks. Now, Democrats and some Republicans actually want to do this and send out stimulus checks to people that qualify for the payments. Here is some important news. Economists in the USA, it's likely to enter a recession next year and it's facing employers to cut jobs and forcing employers to cut corporate profits to shrink. So a recent survey found that more than half of respondents said the United States is headed toward recession in the next 12 months. An additional 11% think the economy is already in one recession. Now, commonly defined as 2 consecutive quarters of shrinking growth, a recent Bloomberg economics report put the chances of a recession within a year at 100%. So what this means is that President Biden must do more and send out stimulus money. But don't forget about this, the consumers have seen their buying power shrink. Over the course of 2022, the cost of gas, travel, groceries, and even housing has skyrocketed in insane amounts. Now that Jerome Powell has said the central bank is trying to create a soft landing in which the economy weakens just enough to slow hiring and wage growth and bring inflation close to 2% a year. The Fed has attempted to corral inflation by raising its benchmark rate 5 times this year again. Now, despite the aggressive moves, the most recent Labor Department data shows that core inflation hit a 40-year high last month at 6.6%. The state of California faces a potential $25 billion budget, and that's a deficit next year. It could actually be at a minimum curb, and some recent spending increases for essential safety net programs help Californians most in need. Now, this comes after an historic budget surplus that provided Governor Newsom and Californians with stimulus money. This was a $97 billion stimulus bill. It was led to the expansion of the Medicare and Medi-Cal eligibility to people that are on paid family leave. Folks, I also want you guys to know this. Newsom and lawmakers in June approved a $17 billion relief package. It was meant to help families, seniors, even the low-income people, and even small businesses. Now, the latest forecast said that a sizable portion of the projected revenue shortfall can actually be offset, everybody, by lowering spending, including for this transportation and housing cost. Let's not forget about this, folks. You have to know this. The forecast warned that a drop in state revenue and need to reduce spending could be substantially worse if we enter a recession in the United States. But I'm pretty sure we're already in one. The governor, Ned Lamont of Connecticut, said that his administration recently mailed out nearly 248,000 checks. And now this was going to low-income households. This is the second time in just the past 2 months to a state tax cut delivered tens of millions of dollars to Connecticut families. Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont also said that many Democrats in Congress, not in Connecticut, shared that the $42 million mailed out came out as through their earned income tax credit bill, and this was $42 million mailed out in stimulus payments sent to everybody that was eligible to receive it. So they noted that it is helping some of the poorest working families, and Republicans did call it, though, a series of election year gimmicks. But hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people rely on low income. It is up to a maximum of $257. And early this month, the governor announced he would provide an additional $1,000 in appreciation bonus payments to thousands of people that are facing the crisis and child care workers that are facing a crisis as well. And some Florida families are eligible to receive up to $450 per child to offset the impact of surging inflation. These are just one-time payments. The payments will be funded with a $35 million from the governor's budget. At the same time, $500, folks, is far more enough to cover the impacts of rising inflation, with one analyst estimating that families are spending about $2,000 more on gas this year due to the higher prices. Over in the state of Rhode Island, families seeking financial relief are just eligible to receive more stimulus money, and now it's just from the state's child tax credit. The governor of Rhode Island announced that families may receive $250 in additional stimulus money. That's good, folks, and I believe that President Biden can definitely do this and send out stimulus payments on his own for the federal government as well. But do you think that President Biden will step up to the plate and help out the American people?
Upgrade for the jobs of previous months, giving President Biden the highest rate of job creation and reduction of unemployment practically in history, and again a tribute to him, to our policies, and a tribute to the private sector, which created many of these jobs, working together with public and private. And with that, we continue our progress. We're laser focused on the economy for the people, creating jobs, growing the economy. As I said, 6.6 million new jobs were created last year. 6.6 million new jobs last year. A stark contrast to the previous administration. Grow the economy's rate of growth, fastest rate of growth in 40 years. That was for 2021. Lower unemployment, biggest single drop in the unemployment rate in history, and lower prices for all Americans through strong action through Congress. And I want to talk about that for a moment. On Friday,
Great news, everybody. Lawmakers have finally started responding to the petition for $2,000 stimulus checks for everybody that is eligible for them. Democrats in the House of Representatives have decided to move forward with this new stimulus proposal. And the IRS has also just announced that many Americans are set to receive a surprise bonus check this tax season. So you want to be sure to stay until the end of this video to find out the most important stimulus check and Social Security information. You guys definitely don't want to miss out on this, everybody. But according to the IRS, taxpayers face major delays for their federal income tax refunds when they incorrectly claim their recovery rate credit on a 2021 return, after they already received the full amount of the third economic impact payment that was issued last year. The IRS is seeking mistakes in claiming the recovery rebate credit and warns taxpayers that it could take several weeks to resolve some issues. However, everybody, it's important to note that the IRS is not sending out more stimulus money now automatically if you missed out last year. If you qualify, the only way to get the money is to claim the recovery rebate credit by filing a 2021 return. Now here is the list who might want to give the recovery rebate credit a second look just to be sure that you qualify for this check. Now, the IRS put a notice on its website in late January that confirmed that parents of a child born in 2021 did not receive a third stimulus payment for a newborn. Now, you may be eligible to receive up to $1,400 for the child born last year or welcomed through adoption or foster care. The recovery rebate credit also can apply if an adult became a qualifying relative in 2021 and was not a qualifying relative in 2019 or 2020. Parents also should pay attention to the rules for claiming the child tax credit, which could further fatten a refund and be worth up to $3,600 per child. Now, remember, all households do not get the same payment